some of these comments has really given me one of the best nicknames I've heard in a while.
Yes.
I mean,
one of the emails that I got, it was
yeah,
great.
yeah. I was like, ooh, Baldy Einstein. So whoever threw that out there, thank you. I love that. I might get that as like an enamel pin.
Welcome back to another episode of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion in 5, DEI in 5. I'm Adrielle. Hopefully you know that by now. If you don't, welcome to my channel. Glad to have you here. I'm joined here I don't know what's the appropriate grammar today. I'm joined here with Caren Young, aka the professional adult, who joins me frequently, is one of my favorite collaborators in this space. Today, we're just going to kind of do a catch-all episode. We were struggling to even record anything today because I think we're both just exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally in so many ways. And so here we are. We were just kind of catching up on DEI news. And we both kind of looked at each other. We're like, none of this is surprising. Like, there's an article about how the U.S. needs a DEI inclusion czar, I guess, to help advise and bring things together.
Ironically, we have one. It's actually through the Office of Personnel Management. We have one. I worked underneath her. We have one.
A lot of folks. And that's one of the problems. There was another article talking about DEI, the case for common ground. There's more room for agreement than might appear. Like, these are all things that we've been saying for so long. Nothing new. We have people that have been doing this work for a long time, that are skilled, that know how to adapt, because as part of doing DEI work, we know that sometimes what we're doing today may not work next month. It might not work tomorrow, and part of being good at this is being able to pivot. So I think there's that. All right, so before we move on, we had to pause for a second and just do a little research. Caren knew this already. I did not know this, and Caren knows this because of her work that she's done within the government. I steer clear. Probably not for the best these days, considering all that's going on. But there is a U.S. Office of Personnel Management, and I think under that, you were saying the director of that office is Caren Ahuja.
Yeah, Dr. Ahuja.
Okay, Dr. Ahuja. And then in addition, there's also a director of the Office of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility, which I imagine, I don't have it in front of me, but I imagine has additional roles below this person, and that's Dr. Janice Underwood. So, and that person was Chief Diversity Officer for Virginia prior to that for about 2.5 years. Was also Director of Diversity Initiatives at Old Dominion University. So we're talking, we have our DEI SAR for the state. So we have multiple people. So again, we keep going in circles. And people say, we need this. We got it. Use your people, use your resources, use your tools. Like,
I will say there's actually a lot of work that office has done. There is they've done their DEI annual report. There are dashboards. There are all sorts of stuff that's out there. And like, I literally subscribe to the emails. I have done work with them, but I literally subscribe to the emails also. Mm-hmm. There's work there. Just because you don't see it or don't access it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right. It doesn't mean it's not affecting your current work, your current organization as well. A lot of times people don't see it. I think, again, we've talked about this so much, but people have this idea of what DEI is and what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like without understanding the full picture and context of the work that can be done under that title. And so, I think if people don't visually see something that feels or aligns with their belief of what DEI is, then it's like people aren't doing anything. Enough isn't being done. And that's not necessarily the case. So,
mm-hmm. Yep.
What else we got? I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. So the whole Citi Bike situation, I know that's why people are probably here. That's probably what I'll make the title, because before I even get into it, I am just disgusted by the fact that other humans took it upon themselves to harass and bully me for over a week on YouTube. And then it went into my email. It was in my DMs on social media. Like, I'm disgusted. And to think I only just posted one clip on my teeny tiny little platform. There's a reporter that's been reporting on this since it unfolded, who has a much larger platform through News One. Her name is Monique. And she also was threatened to be doxxed, and her family was threatened, and just all these things that I struggle to wrap my head around, to understand that that's where we are as humans, where we want to harass and bully and troll people to no end. And then on top of that, the child involved in the Citi Bike accident, and I'm going to keep saying a child, which is what I said at first. People were like, you're making assumptions. No, I know what black boys look like. I have a brother. I've been around them my entire life. I wasn't just born yesterday. And it has been confirmed now that he is 17 years old and still in high school. So we're talking about a black boy. And that's a whole issue in itself of how our society continues to push and try to mature black children at an insane rate in comparison to other children who get to experience being kids and that are acknowledged as kids. Again, another conversation, but that family, his family, also has experienced this, and I just can't even imagine what that's like. And to be a child experiencing that, at least my brain is, I hope well developed at this point, but we're talking about a baby who's still learning, who's still growing, exploring. I'll link the article. Comes from an immigrant family. His mom is like, I don't even know what to do. His sister's trying to figure out things, but going to the original video of what happened and us breaking it down, never at any point was there any defamation. People are like, you're going to get sued. I know what defamation is. I went to journalism school. I research all the time. If you look at any of my videos, I don't just talk out of my ass. There's always going to be receipts in the bottom and I'm going to keep them coming. And that's why I didn't take the video down. I disabled the comments because I got sick of y'all, but there was nothing there. She defamed herself. She didn't need anybody on the internet to do that. Her behavior was clear and as plain as day. So there's that. But the fact that no one bothered to reach out to this kid and his family to understand or hear their side out is just really sad.
But are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. And, people are pointing a finger at the lawyer. I'm like, he's an employment lawyer. He did his job. Like, I'm definitely not surprised by that. That's what he's supposed to do. He was supposed to try to save her job. Yeah. I will say what did surprise me though, and I think it's still up, is the fact that she has a GoFundMe.
Yes.
Paying her salary for the rest of the year. So that's a little appalling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I didn't take the videos down because I didn't need to. The reporter on this story that's actually telling this boy's side and his family's side, she had before she even contacted them, reached out to the lawyer of this woman, confirmed there were no lawsuits. She wasn't suing anyone. She wasn't being sued. So there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, the whole story is a mess, but I think the reason I couldn't let it go is because, again, they're kids, and because things like this happen all the time. And now we're at a point where we're in the midst of all these culture wars, and you've got all these people that are online hiding with no faces, no names, but constantly harassing, trolling, bullying, which is just sad. Like, you got to have something better to do, honestly. And quite frankly, to quote my good friend R.I.P. Bernie Mac, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. So keep it coming. Like, I'm gonna keep talking, keep advocating for people that need it. Because I've been there and no one spoke up for me. There was no report, there were no videos, but here we are. So
I mean, I will say, and I was telling you earlier that some of these comments has really given me one of the best nicknames I've heard in a while.
Yes.
I mean,
one of the emails that I got. It was
yeah. I was like, ooh, Baldy Einstein. Also, whoever threw that out there, thank you. I love that. I might get that as like an enamel pin.
I'm about to drop you a shirt in the mail with that
on the t-shirt that says Baldy Einstein, and it's just It's a drawing of my head and glasses. I appreciate that, and when I make merch from it, I'll think of you as I continue to sell it. So thank you.
I'm gonna screenshot the email too so y'all can see this foolishness. And
Yeah.
my thing is like, if you're gonna be in my inbox, I feel like people have seen me be a very kind, giving, nice person, and I am. But once you start doing the like, I'm gonna disrespect you, I'm gonna try to harass you, bully you, you're gonna start to see some ugliness come out. So
Yep.
I'm still treading lightly, but I am gonna drop that screenshot of that email. Cause like, how are you gonna try to come into my email after I blocked you, try to read me, and you can't even spell or put something in appropriate grammar? Like,
It was.
you're gonna read. Have we not learned anything from the gays? If you gonna read somebody, read somebody. Don't come over here with that foolishness, please.
Exactly. Reading
Please.
is fundamental, my friend. It is fundamental. And yet here we are. Ugh.
Speaking of, shout out to my LGBTQI folks, and I've been following this Target foolishness. I just did an update about it, but my goodness, like Target, and if y'all don't know, I'll link it below, but Target has been supporting the LGBTQI community for eternity. They've had pride gear for eternity, like, and it's always like the cutest little stuff. I think I bought like one of my friends or my cousin something recently from there, and I was like, I love that, I love it. And they have always put it pretty much like in the front of the store, and I think now it's started to expand a little bit, and it has reached some of the southern stores. And so they pretty much, there are customers that came to the store, they were lashing out at the employees, telling them, that they didn't like it. And so Target made the decision to, I don't think they fully got rid of the merchandise, but they basically moved it from the front of the store in some of their southern locations and put it elsewhere. But as of yesterday, they, I think, lost some like $9 billion in value. And this is since this was announced on Tuesday. And I think it's a combination of people that were pushing back on the Pride merchandise and then people that were supporting the merchandise and were like, why did you pull this from the stores? And so they're feeling it from all directions. They took a pretty significant hit. Days. It only took days.
See, and this is something I just don't truly understand. Like, Target has been putting out Pride merchandise for literally years upon years upon years. I usually get some little trinket every single year.
Yeah.
Just like years and years and years. And it hasn't been a problem for years and years and years.
Right.
I am convinced at this point, just like those trolls that you have, I'm thoroughly convinced it's people who are looking for a problem. Like they're just looking for a problem. And they know that so many corporations and so many organizations are too scared. I had to be very mindful of the word I wanted to use. Too many organizations are too scared to look at them and go, you're a small group. Most of my market doesn't care. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. But everyone is so terrified of this small but vocal minority who frankly don't care either way. Right. Like they don't, and I think that's something that I don't think people fully understand in Grok. These people don't care. Like they don't really care about racism. They don't really care about sexism and homophobia and transphobia. They don't care. They just want to complain, and they just want to feel like they have the power to change and to do something because they feel so powerless in so many other places. Yeah, I'm directly talking to you trolls. Feel so powerless in so many other places and so small and so little that you're just going to be an annoying gnat instead. And what's disappointing that these organizations are listening to the gnats as opposed to listening to the people who are actually feeding them. And that's the disappointment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, spot on. I don't even have anything to add to that. I mean, I think that's right. I think, not directly related, but related, like one of the conversations I've been having frequently have been with DEI practitioners that are like, how do I deal with the people that are pushing back or that are resisting? And I'm like, you don't. There are way more people that are supporting what you're trying to do than not. That's why you got hired. Focus on the people that are ready to, that may not know what to do or may not have the answers, but are there like, my hands are your hands. Let me know. Like, let's do this. Like, focus on that. And so I think people just need to recenter their attention and lean into that a little bit more.
Well, and also, and I was thinking a little bit about the a lot of the weird trans rules that have been coming up, and a lot of the whole you have to dress a certain way and you have to do, like,
sure,
those goalposts are going to continue to change,
right?
And it's not going to matter. Like, this is what it is now. And then the next thing will be people with short hair you can't have short hair if you're not if you're not aligning to the gender you were assigned at birth, or
right.
you have to all go back to wearing dresses, or you have to all people who are women have to wear makeup all the time. And like, where is that going to stop? Where is the line going to stop moving? The answer is it won't.
Right.
So you have to stop pandering to these people, because the line is never going to stop. It is always going to be something else. So just stop.
Yep.
Stop.
I agree. So much going on. And I think we were just talking about this before we got on here, but there's so much going on to the point now where, and I've said a handful of times, especially over the past 3.5 years of me doing this work by myself, like, I think I need to leave DEI. But this is the first time where I'm really, really thinking about it. And not only am I thinking about it, I've started doing other work. This is the first time that I've actually done other work that has nothing to do with DEI already. And I'm doing it silently because I need a peace of mind and I don't want people to know I'm even doing it. So that if and when I do need to go ahead and exit stage left, your girl is still cushioned and we are still financially okay. Because, capitalism, and that's the way of the world. But it makes me sad because this is really the work that I love to do. I know that I'm supposed to be doing it right now. I know, when you get into that flow state, it feels right. Having people reach out and be like, hey, remember that workshop we did 2-3 years ago? This is how it's impacted me. Like, things like that keep me going. But trying to find a balance with like the nastiness of it all that started to come out with the culture wars, and like the fact that I'm talking more about politics, because you really can't talk about any of this work anymore without talking about current events and what people are always like, oh, I don't want to get political. It is political. Whether or not you want to label it as such or not is a different story. But it makes me sad that that's where I'm at. And it's almost like, oh, I don't want to give in to the people that are trying to push me out. But on the other hand, I'm like, heart disease is like one of the leading causes of death for Black women. And that is directly correlated to stress. And I am not about to be stressed to death. That's not how I'm trying to go out in this lifetime. So it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I have very seriously considered going back into my previous work in software product management. I can make just as much money. Yeah. Even more money. I can be invisible. And I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. But and I have to try to remind myself that the reason I left product management is because I felt alone, and I felt like I was tired of being the only person who looked like me in a space. But it is really hard to not just think, wow, I can make the same amount of money, have the same amount of flexibility, and have none of the stress.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a different kind of stress, right? Because from my experience, at some point, it's like it catches up that like you're the only or you're the other in the situation, and the microaggressions start coming in again. And, people are, if we're thinking about product, people are designing something, they haven't thought about X population or group, and then you're the one that's constantly fighting and advocating. So it's like an endless cycle, and you end up back there. Which is unfortunate. It's just so frustrating. It's really frustrating. I was telling someone recently, I was like, I pretty much have a scheduled cry every day at this point. And that's bad. Like, and I don't say that proudly, but I say that because I know I'm not the only person that's going through stuff like that, and people still aren't transparent around mental health. Like, that's where I'm at this point. Like, yesterday was, I was telling you before we got on, it got to the point where my body, mind, everything shut down. I slept almost the whole day. I don't sleep. I've never been a napping person. Like, when I was a kid, I used to be helping the teachers put the other kids to sleep for nap time. I've never been a napping person. So the fact that my body, everything shut down yesterday, was like, no more, is like, whoa. Like, and I was like, you know, thank God it was like nothing bad, but it was like, it was definitely a like nudge for me. Like, okay, girl, this is not, we can't keep going down this path. So we got to find some balance, got to lean more into these projects that don't touch this work, which like I said, I already started doing for the first time, which is a little scary to be doing something different from what I've done for years now. But yeah, it might be time to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah. And I think what frustrates me also is that I am a very stubborn woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me angry that I feel this way, because I feel like you don't get to push me out.
Right.
You don't get to push me out because you're a bully. Because that's what's happening. These people are freaking bullies.
Yep.
And they're only doing it because they feel they can.
Yep.
And so because I am a stubborn woman, I will blame my Caribbean heritage. Because I'm a stubborn woman, I'm like, screw it. But at the same time, I have to ask myself the questions, at what cost to my own mental health? I don't have a scheduled cry, but I do have good scheduled disassociations, which is great.
Listen, I need to learn. Shoot, teach me your ways.
Where you just stare at the wall for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. I will say though, like, even if I exit stage left on DEI completely, y'all best believe this YouTube channel is staying up until somebody pulls it down. You will have to pry it off my dead fingers. So there is that. I'm leaving my mark. Like, regardless of what I decide to do in the future, all of this content will still be up. So there's that. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad we did this episode. I think that it's nice every so often to just have a, hey, here's where we are. Again, I will say to the trolls, don't think that you've won. Don't think you've won. And also don't think that, congratulations, you've now received the attention you've so desperately craved. Congratulations. And then keep an eye out for Baldy Einstein merch coming out soon.
I'm still so weak. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna make sure I drop the screenshot so y'all can see what we're talking about, because it's just, I mean,
love it.
Chef's kiss. My friend got me these fun pins that I just want to showcase really quickly.
I love it. Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah, self-care is blocking and negative energy repellent.
I love it. Love it.
All right. Well, thanks for humoring us. This was a bit of a catch-all episode, but like Caren said, it's always good for us to just kind of like update y'all on how things are going for us, because we know a lot of people are out there, you know, probably on the early phases of their DEI journeys, or same phase as we are, or even further ahead. And, you know, it can be hard to slow down and relate to people that are dealing with the same thing, because this work is so unique. And of course, wanted to give some other updates. You know, it's hard to talk about anything DEI without talking about the news and current events. So I'll add some links below. Y'all can dive into those, and we will see you back here soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye.